red lentils.
Gathering donations for people in need and facilitating supports for African asylum seekers in the GTA is still a part of Nadine Miller's role. But this doesn't compare to what the organization took on in 2023.
Height of chaos was we had people that was coming in with malaria, people that were coming off the streets, hadn't eaten for days, walking towards us, maybe from downtown Toronto, because they were told no, they couldn't come into the shelter at that time. We became a house. We became mother, father, medical doctors, the whole 9 yards, until we could get everybody to step in.
In June 2023, refugees were sleeping on Toronto streets after being turned away from the city's shelter system. Reports have since shown the refugees were predominantly Black and from African countries. At the time, Black community organizations moved more than 200 refugees off the streets and into shelters, including several churches.
We realized that nothing was in place. And that's why we actually banded together as a collective and as churches, faith leaders, and not-for-profits, and decided that we're going to step in.
A new report by United Way and the Center for Community-Based Research highlights the systemic racism and failures within the system. Through interviews with individuals with first-hand experience and service providers, the report highlights that asylum seekers face widespread housing discrimination and that many are denied jobs simply because of foreign credential bias and racism.
For the African asylum seekers, the racism came as an extra layer of challenge. So this form of discrimination is deeply embedded in everyday life and institutions, and it undermines the entire settlement process.
The report also shares solutions to ensure this doesn't happen again. The 29 recommendations were organized into 3 categories: programs and services, investments, and policy.
And so we felt it was really important to center those people, those voices, those lived experiences, but also to understand how better in the future to provide concrete support so that we don't have to reach crisis. You know, many of the organizations that stepped up were informal, smaller, Black-led and serving. And so they told us clearly that, Black organizations were underfunded.
The city said work is underway to establish a dedicated refugee shelter system designed to better meet the specific needs of refugee claimants with culturally responsive services and settlement supports. This includes the city's first Black-led and Black-mandated shelter. It's also pushing for more long-term funding from the province and federal government to address the issue. Miller agrees that more funding is needed, but also says lessons have been learned from the peak of the crisis that her organization witnessed.
When you look at what a Black refugee would experience inside the city now, it won't be the same as what they've experienced in the past. So those that are coming in new, they're going to meet a more friendlier system than what the refugees that we had experienced.
Talia, Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.